just so much talent around
that's the
him.
question mark. It's funny that you have a team that's winning that much and that good, and you're just kind of like, I really don't know about Mr. Irrelevant. All right, Mike, we're here after a hiatus for NFL picks. That's right. We got 4 of them because you know how hard it was to find NFL games that were worth a damn to even pick this week?
It was not a great week although that Thursday night game was quite a thing. That was a weird, wild time.
You know, honestly, on the outside, I did not think the Seahawks would be able to stay with the Cowboys. So, yeah, It was actually a pretty good game.
Geno came to play.
What do we got for our first game?
Okay, so let's start it off with, because you really wanted to talk about this, we're going to talk about the Browns game. What do you have, Dirk?
All right, well, you got 2 teams. One that is, the Browns should be a good team. They have Deshaun Watson, and we're talking a completely different story. Instead, we're talking about the replacement, not Falco, going all the way down to take on L.A., the LA Rams, to be specific. So basically, you're playing, a washed-up replacement against, Matt Stafford and Rams team that is just banged up, and gosh, they just can't get anything going this year. So, Mike, I'm going to take the Browns simply just because that defense is so good, and also the Rams just don't look that good at all. Cooper Kupp is injured, not injured. Who knows what his status is for Sunday? That's probably going to be a game time deal. And Kyren Williams is just coming back off of an injury as well. Also, Matt Stafford's coming off an injury, so I just don't see the Rams really putting this one together.
I'm going to go the opposite, Dirk. I think the Rams get it done. They're still in the postseason hunt in that NFC picture, which is wild, but the final seed in the NFC is not that good. No. So if the Rams win this game, I think they're in the spot. It's funny. This is jogging my memory that I have no recollection at all of Joe Flacco. No highlights as a Bronco. I don't even remember that era.
Yeah, it
was a very short-lived tenure. But I do know that my phone still autocorrects his name to Joe Flacid every time I try and do. This one really we should be talking about is the matchup between 2 of the greatest defenders of the generation, Aaron Donald and Myles Garrett. Yeah. I think you and I are going to split this one. I'm going Rams. He's going Browns.
All right.
Yeah.
Next matchup we have is the first time for Patrick Mahomes to go to Lambeau Field. So Chiefs, Packers played in Wisconsin. Mike, who you got in this one?
Yeah, Green Bay is playing much better football, Dirk, but I'm not going to be stupid enough to take the Packers in this situation.
Yeah, I got Kansas the Chiefs City as well. Yeah. Honestly, Jordan Love, it looks like they're starting to, settle into the offense and start connect with his receivers, specifically Watson. Again, not stupid enough to take the Packers in this one.
Not loving it yet. The Chiefs have a 1 seed to play for. They're an easy pick in this one.
For sure.
Yeah.
Next one, what do you got?
Okay, so also on the slate of games this week, actually, strangely, maybe the 2 biggest matchups. One is tomorrow morning, the Broncos and Texans get things going in Houston. And the winner of this game is pretty much going to be in the playoffs. I mean, especially if it's the Broncos. Dirk, what do you see happening? We'll get into that in a second.
I just don't know what to make about this Texans team. They lost to Carolina. I totally am a believer in what C.J. Stroud has done so far, but you have a lot of members of that Houston offense that are hurt right now, like Tank Dell.
Yep.
I just see the Broncos pulling this one off. I know that there's a lot of naysayers out there about the Broncos, and I feel like every time I hear sports commentary on the Broncos, it's just excuse after excuse of why they're doing well. Do you know what I'm saying? No one's really bought into, hey, they're actually turning this around. And I'm not on the hype train of, turning this around at all. That's not what I'm trying to start. I'm not trying to, get the engine, shoveling the coal into that train engine or anything like that. But I do think at a certain point you have to start saying, okay, this Broncos team isn't nearly as bad as what we said they were in September. I'll put my foot in my mouth. I mean, after 1-5 and you just gave up 70 points, I think it's pretty easy to jump on how bad the Broncos were. I just think they get it done. You have Houston that is all over the board. They're injured. I'm taking the Broncos.
I'll be honest with you, Dirk. If Denver wins this game, I think they finish like 11-6 because their remaining schedule is terrible. Or what losses do they have? They have the Chargers twice. They have the Patriots at home. They have the Raiders, and they have the Lions.
Okay. So, you know what?
Yeah.
After this, we're going to pull up and see. I swear, the Broncos versus the Raiders in December, they have like a terribly bad losing record.
They do, but they also they did not have like a Sean Payton team that's starting to get it rolling. I honestly, if Denver wins, they're getting to 11 wins, and they're actually a formidable thing. And the truth is, if Denver has I think like the worst remaining schedule in football as far as strength of schedule. If they win this game, they have tiebreakers over the Texans and Bills. And if they get to 10 wins, they're in.
Yeah.
Like, this is it. This is the Broncos playoff game right here. Denver's getting it done. No. All right. Big. Actually, I'm going to say Denver gets it done, and it's not even particularly close. I think Stroud gets picked off by Surtain once, maybe twice.
Yeah, I mean, if he starts trying to play hero ball, I mean, early in the season, if he just plays that same, like, cautious, very, very well-scripted approach, I don't think he throws those interceptions, but you're right. He could be forcing it.
One last note on this, too. If Denver wins this game, I think people need to stop doubting because that would be 5 straight wins over teams with winning records for the Broncos.
What I would say, people need to stop doubting at this point. That's kind of like what my whole diatribe was. That at some point, you do have to start recognizing this isn't nearly as bad of a team as we thought before. And they're actually, I mean, if we're going to talk about Josh Dobbs and get hyped on the Vikings, how can you not get hyped on the Broncos? I don't understand that.
No. I mean, if Denver, like I said, man, the thing that makes Denver scary moving forward is if they turn this around and just get to the playoffs, more or less win a single playoff game. What the group that's driving this is a young core of players, so Denver has potential to be really good next year. So I'd say watch that.
It's a wild turn of events. I'm not gonna lie.
Bizarre.
I mean, like
it's crazy.
We were just outside. I feel like
two months ago. What the hell is going on?
70, Mike. 70.
I would have smacked you in the face. All right, let's go for the game of the week.
Yeah.
49ers and Eagles, probably everyone's prohibitive NFC Championship preview. What do you think?
I'm just... Ever since Chase Young went to the 49ers, it's hard to doubt that team anymore. It really is. The Eagles seem to just keep getting it done, though. You look at the Bills game last week, and they just got it done. Yeah, Josh Allen played probably one of the best games he's played in years, and it just wasn't enough. I'm going to go ahead and take the 49ers, but I do think Brock Purdy struggles in this. The big question mark on the 49ers right now is how does Brock Purdy do when they're not up and having a lead? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, he's very, very good at game management. He's also making great throws. I mean, you can't just dismiss him outright. I don't think he's a quarterback that's faced much adversity yet. And when he does, you see what happened in Cleveland.
Yeah,
and he saw what happened with Cincinnati.
I just think they've constructed that team to where they don't need. I mean,
there's
right. So much talent around.
That's the question mark. It's funny that you have a team that's winning that much and that good, and you're just kind of like, I really don't know about Mr. Irrelevant. I really don't know if Mr. Irrelevant is going to be that good or not.
It's wild, but I tell you, Dirk, we've seen it. Brad Johnson won a Super Bowl with the Buccaneers. Trent Dilfer won with the Ravens.
Yeah.
Even a couple years ago, Foles won with the Eagles. I mean, like. If you've built this loaded team and you've got a quarterback who's like not particularly expensive, there's a chance that it works. I think San Francisco's in that position. We'll get to the playoffs when we get to the playoffs, but this week it's 49ers.
All right, you got 49ers?
Yeah.
All right, I have 49ers as well.
All right.
Let's see how those go.